Hey, it's Sparky, Fifer, 1250 AM The Fan in sunny Milwaukee, Wisconsin, along with our guy, Dwight Albrecht from the Spare Time Pro Shop in New Berlin. Follow him on Twitter at Dewey300. Phil Brylow is here, $2 Phil. Follow him at Brew City Bowling. Follow me at Sparky Radio. I have to talk about the 2024 PBA schedule release, and I'd like to apologize before this podcast starts for being in a bad mood and pissed off. And if you want to know why I'm in a bad mood and pissed off, ask the Milwaukee Brewers, who screwed this whole thing up with Craig Counsell, the manager, and let him go to the hated Chicago Cubs down the Interstate I-94. So if I end up being more angry than usual, which I know is asking a lot, this is why. This is why I'm so pissed off. Okay, so let's talk about the 2024 schedule. And again, this here was something that happened literally, Phil. We got done recording the podcast last week. You got in the car and boom, there it was.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks everybody.
I'm not mad.
No, I know. It's just kind of fun, ironic how that happened. But yeah, and it's nice to see a lot of variety on the schedule this year. It's nice to see some events that weren't on TV last year getting TV finals back again. I think every show that decides the title should be on TV, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, that's a lot.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
But see, this is kind of where I'm at on this. They've got to get to a point here, kind of going forward, where when they do a schedule release, they got to play it up more. Like, you got to try and make it something. And I don't know if 5 people would tune in to watch you do a schedule release. I have no idea, but I just think it's a cool concept. And I'll give you another idea of what they could do with this whole thing. If you're going to continue, and I haven't looked all the way through this, but if you're going to continue to leave the PBA league dangling out there in the wind, later in the year and separate it from the rest of the schedule, then cool. Then when you do the PBA league champion and they win, then take another half hour, get another half hour if you can, and do your schedule release right there. Instead of waiting all this time and separating yourself, you have a captive audience. You'd be like, stay tuned for the schedule release. Find out if we're coming to your town next here on the PBA, whatever. And then have Randy Peterson and Tom Clark be sitting there. He's got to be a part of it. Make like a 30-minute talk show and let them discuss each event, where we're going, show highlight clips of each event if you've been there before or whatever the case may be, some history. Like, you could totally make that work.
Oh, there's especially do it on a YouTube show. Even it doesn't, if you can't get Fox time, do it on a YouTube show, do it on the PBA YouTube channel, and just get people a chance to just chime in with questions right away. That would work too. Absolutely.
Yep. I like TV over all these stupid apps, but I mean, from that perspective, I just think that's the next thing. Next progression here is, how do we make this and generate even more excitement around this schedule release? Right. Because again, I mean, you're an IndyCar guy, Dwight. When these guys release their schedules, everybody wants to know if they're coming or not coming. Is Milwaukee Mile getting a race or aren't they? Is Road America getting a race or aren't they? And that's just us. Imagine the rest of the country. If you're in Iowa, are we getting a race or aren't we? Right. That's a big deal from a fan base.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be picked out of the crowd. It was 2018. We went to Iowa with the other family that we go to see the Indy race, Iowa Corn 300 back then. And so one of the guys, MC says, anyone from the fan have any questions for 2 of the drivers? And I instantly threw up my hand and I said, yeah, we drove all the way from Milwaukee to see Indy racing. When are you guys going to come back to Milwaukee?
Good question.
Yeah, because again, the drivers love that track.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we were pretty pumped up this year when we saw that Milwaukee is coming back. We were actually at the NASCAR truck race, and we were sitting in the
stands, a great race,
talking about blanked on his name, the guy that owns Indy,
Roger Penske.
Penske was in Milwaukee, and we're all going, well, if Penske's in Milwaukee, he's got to be talking about the mile coming, the race coming back.
Penske has his hands in everything. Now he's trying to get into F1. I mean, that man literally is racing at this point.
I'm just thinking, if it wasn't Penske, would we even have gotten it back?
Maybe not. No, because other promoters have tried and failed.
But
I mean, I've been down there numerous times doing racing shows, post-racing shows after Indy races and so forth back in the day. But eventually, it just, for whatever reason, it just fizzles out and they can't draw.
We judge our vacation around that schedule. If we're going to go to Iowa, watch it, or now we're going to buy the tickets from Milwaukee and stay in Milwaukee.
Okay, but Dwight, let's take it to the next level.
Yep.
Who's building their vacation around a PBA schedule?
Right.
I know a few people, but it's only for the league out in Portland.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is, but again,
Right.
now let's think about this, right, Grant? Let's really kind of go out of the box. And I'm sure these PBA guys have these discussions that I bring up on these podcasts. It's nothing new. They've heard all of it. But why not have a PBA tour in Hawaii? Stop.
Right.
Why not have a PBA tour stop somewhere that's really destination warm, right?
Right.
So say it's Florida. Say it's somewhere down there. And I know he's worked, Tom and those guys have worked to try to get into the bowling center in Disney Springs. I know they've had those conversations. I haven't talked to Tom in years about that. But when that place first opened, I'm taking pictures and I'm sending him time like, dude, this place here is unbelievable. And he's like, yeah, we've talked to him and we can't seem to figure it out. But then once you have that destination place, now do the come-alongs.
Right.
Now build the vacation packages. Your chance to win a trip to Hawaii to see the PBA tour live, hotel, airfare, whatever else. And you run that promotion with whoever it is that flies to Hawaii. I don't know. It's been years since I've been to Hawaii. Southwest, or maybe it's not Southwest, but United or whoever it is, Delta, right? And you have a chance, you get airfare, you get hotel at this nice resort, whatever, and you can come out and be a part of watching the PBA tour in Hawaii. Okay, now we're starting to drum up some interest. Now it's, hey, every year they have some cool, warm destination place that would be cool to kind of go hang out and see. They were just talking, who was it that came on and talked about the PBA cruise that they're doing?
Oh,
Kyle True.
Yeah.
Kyle True.
Yeah.
They're doing that cruise where you can kind of go and hang out, and they're going to have like a little bowling league or whatever they're going to have on there, tournament or whatever. Yeah. That's cool, right? But did I see that promoted at all anywhere other than what he told me? No. That's why it's got to be a PBA sanctioned thing of where you're going, and try and figure out, okay, how do we generate more money and more revenue? If I put it in Hawaii, can I get an airline sponsor? Can I get a hotel to get down with me and do this as well? And then part of that deal is, hey, look, you sponsor, you don't even have to give us physical money. We just want to cut rate to get our bowlers there. We want to cut rate to get our hotels our hotel rates knocked down for our bowlers that are coming in.
Right. That
type of deal. And blow it up. And every year, which tropical destination will be the PBA be in this year?
Right.
Find out when we release the schedule coming up on this day and see if you want to join us or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but that's another angle to try and draw something going here.
Yeah, I mean, because right now you look at the schedule this year, and the PBA, the farthest west it gets is Springfield, Missouri. Other than the USBC Masters, which is always seems to be in Las Vegas.
Right.
So, and they're at a new bowling center as well. They're at the Suncoast coming up. So that's a nice bowling center. It's a nice move for USBC to go there. There are a lot of US Senior Open tournaments back there, and they hosted 25 years, I bet, before the pandemic at Suncoast. And bowlers love it. It's a good center. The bowlers and the fans will have a good time. They're nice sight lines and everything. It's kind of like going to South Point in the regular bowling center.
I got one for you. You want to talk about Vegas?
Yeah.
What about that big sphere that they got out there that they're doing concerts in or whatever else?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
how about a TV finals from inside that damn thing?
No.
Right.
That would be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And again, I'm sure it would cost a ton of money.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. I'm sure it would cost a ton of money, whatever else, but that would be something different.
Yeah.
No, MLB can't do that. NFL, NBA, well, NBA could.
Right.
But MLB and NFL certainly can't do that.
Yeah.
And that would be the first time a sport would be inside that thing. And it would put you on the map.
Oh, yeah.
ESPN would be talking about you. They'd all be talking about you because of what you can do inside of that thing. Yeah. And again, I'm sure all of these
Vegas
are talked about.
So cool.
No doubt. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've been there. Okay. Let's talk about the 2023 Guaranteed Rate PBA Tour. First one, January 29th. This is old.
Yeah, 2024. I got my lead off as PBA Players Championship.
Yeah. I typed in PBA
Rock.
Schedule 2023. That's why, because I'm a moron.
So
here we go.
Yeah, that was the first thing they announced a couple of weeks back to get everybody, kind of the kickoff. Hey, here's our first event. It's at a pretty historic center with Brunswick North Rock. Everybody remembers when Tom Smallwood won the world championship there back in 2009, and just the history at North Rock Lanes has with hosting the Wichita State bowling, collegiate bowling programs and hosting a lot of national championship events there. Brylow took over the ownership there within the last 2 years, and they're still hosting a lot of events. They had a Bowl TV only finals in Wichita last year, and it's the fans come out in Wichita. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's going to be tough to get on that concourse on Friday night during whatever the last match play round might be.
I find it interesting though that Sparky said January 24th, I believe, where now they're starting this year January 9th.
Yeah.
So that is a couple weeks earlier.
Now the question is, do you want to go against the NFL playoffs that early, or do you want to wait to get in till the playoffs are done?
And then the one thing about that show is it's on MLK Day. It's that show that's in the afternoon on MLK Day. So
that's different. Normally it's just the NBA in the afternoon.
So they're going after some fans that might not be, some sports fans that might not be NBA fans, and they're going to, see how a Monday afternoon could work on a holiday. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of ratings come back from that first show. No doubt about it.
All right. So North Rocket, Wichita, Kansas, right there on the 15th, at 4:00 on Fox is the finals. Then again, this to me is a problem. You have 2 or 3 weeks before your next TV match after that until the U.S. Open, which is on February 3rd. Again, back in Indianapolis at the Royal Pin Woodland in Indianapolis. That's a long stretch to try and hold attention back over to here with the U.S. Open. Now, again, my question always is, and will continue to be, is how much are they going to be inside of Fox NFL games promoting that whole thing coming up the following week? Now, obviously, if you're the PBA, you want to be inside these Fox playoff games.
Right.
However, if you are Fox, do you want them inside of your NFL games to garner interest away from the NFL games to go watch you? Because, again, that Saturday, February 3rd game, that's FS1. So that's not really Fox. Then Big Daddy Fox, that's a 3:00 start Central Time on Sunday, February 4th. Is that the bye week?
I think that's the bye week for
between the playoffs and the Super Bowl, because they moved the Super Bowl back a week. So that's the bye week. So from that perspective, you want to be in during those conference championship games that previous weekend as much as possible, pushing and promoting the PBA starting the following week. Because after that, then you get on a little bit of a run.
Well, I think there probably would be some ad time. One would think Fox would have the PBA running ads during that conference championship game for the NFC.
Those ads are really expensive, like anything else.
But if Fox is promoting it themselves, I mean, they're going to want to get the eyeballs on it. I don't see where they, especially if it's on the Big Daddy Fox, they're going to want to get eyeballs on it. And I could see some ads running during the NFC Championship game the week before.
That would be huge.
Yeah,
it would be absolutely big. I think at this point, kind of going forward. But my thing is just there's that big break from the 15th of January to February 3rd. That 2 weeks. I like the idea though. Of 4 p.m, though, I guess on that Martin Luther King Day.
See, now the thing I like about that weekend with the U.S. Open finals is that Saturday afternoon on FS1, it's the first PBA Elite League shows. So there's going to be 5 league shows during the PBA season before they even get the playoffs in September.
Where is the definition of PBA Elite League found?
They changed it last year from just PBA League to PBA Elite League.
Oh, we just called it PBA League. We just called it the right thing the whole time?
Well, some of us did, yeah.
Okay, well, I certainly didn't. What makes it elite? Either way.
Yeah.
Okay, so PBA League is going to be on FS1. So now they're going to intertwine them with the regular season.
And so hopefully there's some promotion about that as well.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Again, that's good.
Bring more attention to the league, even though it's not going to, I mean, there's going to be a big gap from when they have the last league show at the end of April till September. At least it's out there during the year and it's not some, hey, here's league 3 months after everything's done.
Wait. What did you just say?
There's going to be 5 PBA league shows.
I understand that.
Yeah,
what happens between April and September?
There's not much.
But then why are we having something in September if we're running shows?
That's a Tom and Bolero question.
Wait a second. So they put the PBA League in.
Right.
Great.
Yep.
But then in order to find out who wins, you have to wait 6 months?
5 months, 4 or 5 months.
Oh,
yeah.
That's dumb. That's so stupid. I mean, with all due respect to everybody involved, why the hell would you do that? Well, just get rid of the September bowling in general. Like, just be done with it. And again, maybe they're stuck under their TV contract of they got to have shows in September. That's part of the contract. Whatever.
Right.
Come up with King of the Hill or something again. Put that back on TV. I don't know. Yeah. But the PBA League thing, don't break. Could you imagine that? The regular season stops for baseball in, say, August, and we're going to play the playoffs in March.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No. Oh. We got to be missing something here.
No, it's the way it's scheduled out right now. It's going to be interesting to see what the format is for these 5 league shows on FS1.
But aren't they building points to get to the championship?
I would think there's going to be some type of competition. There may be competition before the TV shows. It just hasn't been revealed yet. But I would think that they're going to have some competitions with the teams during the week. So like if I go to Indianapolis, I'm sure there's going to be a day of that schedule that's devoted to PBA League, even though it's the US Open. And then whoever does the best that week makes the 2 teams that do the best that week make the show. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. Time out. If they knew they were doing this, then why wouldn't, well, maybe they will. They have time until January.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming the PBA League draft is going to be December?
Oh, I would have no doubt. They have to redraft the teams. They're not going to.
You're not going to roll the same teams and then start it over in September every year.
And I'm
because, hey, that could be what they do. They could say, same teams, we're going to play the 2023 or the 2024 finals for PBA League is going to be at the end of April.
Yeah.
And then the new PBA League season will start in September every year. And then there's going to be a break. And then it'll carry through.
Yeah. No,
it's the draft starts in September. The season ends in April.
Yeah. No, the way they have it now is the championship matches are in September. So there's going to be a draft. There's going to have to be a draft in December. And it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to just stay with 5-player teams or if they're going to go, because it's a season-long thing. There might be players that have conflicts, or let's say somebody gets injured or has a family thing. They may have to expand those rosters as well, I would think, from beyond 5 players. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, there's things up in the air right now. We don't know what's going on. I'm sure they'll be released in the next couple of weeks, I would think, where they start getting the fans the details of what's going on with the whole PBA Elite League season and what's going on with, where you can see the teams.
Again, I told you I was on edge in a bad mood to start this show. This is not helping my mood. I applaud you, PBA, for putting this with regular tournaments. Like, now more fans will get to see it versus remembering to set their clock in September to watch the dumb thing. So that I applaud.
Right.
But 10 thumbs down to separating the damn season from April to September and then trying to tell everybody, hey, you remember what happened back in March? Well, we're back in September, even though we've not been on TV. Like, that doesn't make any damn sense to me.
Right.
And if I'm a Fox executive, I'm going, how does this work? Like, we have lots of sports on Fox and FS1, but how does this, somebody explain to me how we expect the fan base to follow along with this? But this shouldn't even have been, this is on the PBA. This is on Fox. Like, use your common sense. How does this work?
Yeah.
Do you understand? I mean, Dwight's not talking. He's just standing there shaking his head.
Well, I'm looking at the schedule, and I don't know if these dates are actually TV dates, but April 28th is PBA Tournament of Champions, and then May 5th is PBA playoffs. May 19th is PBA playoffs.
Right.
And then it goes into June with no weekend.
Yep.
No date for the PBA Tour Finals. So that could be a month right there without bowling on TV, if I read that correctly.
Oh, it's going to be at least that. It goes from the last broadcast of the playoffs is May 19th on Big Daddy Fox, and then nothing till September with the PBA League playoffs.
So what about
15th.
this PBA WPBA striking against?
That's a live stream event, and Jonesboro will be a live stream event on Bull TV too.
Gotcha.
So Lucky Larson Masters, same thing. Like, can
we find out if Bowling Heaven is like opposed to doing this in like May?
I could talk to Charlie.
Why wouldn't you me? If you want to have this dumb gap or whatever you're going to have, fine, then have your dumb gap. But why wouldn't you then just put it right after the May 19th finals or whatever the playoffs are? Then next weekend have your PBA League championships and have this bad boy wrapped up by June. And then we're done. And then we take a nice long break and we come back next year in January and do it again and finish it. Fox, what does Fox have? Fox has baseball game of the week. Okay, right? They still have that.
Yeah.
Baseball game of the week. There's no college football. They don't carry the NBA, so there's no NBA playoffs to be conflicted with. I don't believe they have the NHL. I don't think.
No.
So what's the issue? What's the problem?
See,
and put them on FS1 for all I care. They don't have to be on Big Daddy Fox. Put on FS1.
Well, you got the PBA playoffs in May, and then you got the Elite League playoffs in September. You think they would have maybe flip-flopped those?
No,
they're 4 shows each.
There should be no flip-flopping. There should be no shows in September when the season ends in freaking May. There is no separation. You are not going to convince me that you are going to remind and carry all these fans over to September.
Right.
Hey, set the reminder on your phone. In 5 months, we'll be back. What? I mean, no other sport does this.
Yeah.
No other sport does this.
I just think
so. Unless bowling heaven is the issue, in which case you suck it up and deal with it because there's not a better venue you're going to be able to bowl at. If it's him saying, "Hey, it's got to be in September, or I can't do it," if it's Charlie saying that. Okay, then I guess you're stuck because you can't put it anywhere else and have the same atmosphere. That facility and that crowd makes it special. So it has to be there. Yeah. So if Charlie's saying it's got to be September, okay, I guess we're stuck then. We're screwed because we can't go anywhere else.
I can't see that being the case because he's had it in April and June and July. I mean, he's had it all over the year. So I can't see the Charlie thing being the issue. It's got to be something with.
Do you think Fox is demanding that the PBA be on in September? Like, from a TV side, are they saying we have to have you on in September when the NFL is going?
Well, they're on week. I mean, there's only one Sunday show for those league shows. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
No, there's no Wednesday. It's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. There's another 4-hour damn time frame on Monday, September 6th. We all hate that. September 15th is that Sunday quarterfinals, and then the finals is on a Tuesday night.
Yeah,
who cares? Whatever.
And
they're all on FS1 anyhow. Yeah. So from that perspective, put them on FS1 at the end of May and keep the season nice and compact. Yeah.
I agree. I think you're going to lose a lot of interest, and I think you're going to see a lot of backlash from the PBA fans over that big of a break.
No, nobody's going to back. There's no backlash. There's just no.
The one thing you got to look at it too is how many fans are just not even fans, are just watching it because it's on in a bar and they keep FS1 on all the time, or if it's if they're actively searching it out. There's enough people are doing it, but
let's say this.
Okay.
I'll give you another out. PBA and Fox. Maybe the out is, hey, if I have it on in September, the bowling leagues will have it on in their bowling centers all around the country. And when we get to May, it's so warm out, people aren't wanting to watch bowling anymore, and people aren't bowling anymore. People are on the golf courses. So we want the bigger fan base, which we think is in September, when it's colder outside and PBA and bowling leagues are going. So more people will want to watch bowling because they're bowling. Maybe that is their lame excuse of why this is separated.
Well, how many times are PBA shows repeated on FS1 after they originally air? I mean, I know this weekend they had the Clash on again. And maybe they're just looking at, okay, once we run all these PBA shows for 4 months and, between May and September when this happens and we're running all these reruns from the season, let's freshen it up a bit, and then we can run the league stuff and intersperse it with some older stuff.
If it's
until
Fox,
the season starts again.
If this is Fox's deal, I would have fought it. Okay. I would have fought hard. If this is the PBA deal, then I need an explanation. If the PBA is the one deciding to have this separation, then I need somebody to explain to me the thought process on how this makes sense, because I don't understand. And I'm sure if you all think it's a good idea, then just please explain to me why this is a good idea. If this is a Fox deal, it is what it is. You're not going to lose the partnership over it.
Yeah.
But I would have fought it. I would have been fighting it every year. You just got to sign a 2-year deal. So you had a chance to get rid of it and move it, and then didn't do it. So I know I'm the only one probably pissed off about this, but it just doesn't make any damn sense to me.
Well, back in the day, you had the different, I mean, obviously let's go back where it was different networks. So you had ABC in the fall, in the winter, and then you had ESPN in the summer, and you had NBC in the fall. And obviously that's never going to happen again. And there's only one other entity that really fights for bowling rights, and that's CBS Sports Network, but that reach is so minuscule that it's not even rated. You can't even have a rating on it.
Okay. Do you think if Fox went to the PBA tour, we were supposed to be doing a schedule release, we didn't get very far. If Fox comes to the PBA tour, it says, okay, Bolero, Tom Clark, this is the deal. Thanks for the last several years. Got to do a new TV contract. We would like tournaments to be set up like NASCAR. So that's the conflict. NASCAR's the conflict because NASCAR is on Fox. Yeah. So that could be part of the conflict.
Right.
But they flip. They only get half a season. So whatever it is.
Yeah, they're done in June and then it goes to NBC.
Right. But whatever they came to the PBA and they said, we want to carry the PBA tour from January till September. Can you fill it? Do you think the PBA tournament could go out and have enough tournaments to fill it and enough facilities to fill it in that time frame if they went to them and said, we want 8 months of tournaments, do it. Because again, the NFL is 7 months, 8 months, something like that, right? If you count preseason, August all the way till middle of February, that's a run. Baseball with spring training is March till November, right? NBA is October till June. Bigger stretches. NASCAR is February until November. So, I mean, it's a huge stretch, right? PBA giving you, 5 months? And not even really 5 because you only had one tournament in January. So really it's 4 months. So if they came to them and said, we got to get to being 7 or 8 months here. We need more to fill more to help us fill time. Can you fill it? Do you think the PBA, Phil, could get enough tournaments and enough different locations around the country to make it work?
I think they could. The problem is they would need more sponsor dollars to do it and make it worthwhile for.
Well, that would have to be told to Fox.
Right.
Like, we'll fill it.
Right.
But we need X amount of dollars to be able to make this work.
I guarantee it, one of the stops this year is in Indiana and at one of Dave Small's places in Indiana. I guarantee if Dave could host 3 PBA events between his centers in Indiana and Michigan, he'd do it in a heartbeat.
But this is the thing, though.
I bet somebody around here would host an event.
Fine. But if I'm Fox, part of my deal would be we got to go yonder west. Right. Like, I need more coverage. I need us to be in Denver or wherever. I need us to be in Phoenix. I need us to be in LA. Right. I need us to hit some of these different markets out west and try to expand the footprint a little bit. Right. The question is, would they be able to find those places that would want to host a PBA tour event? I don't know what the want is. Like, are people lined up, 50, 60, 70 deep of bowling alleys clamoring for the PBA to come to their location? Or is Tom having to go out and hunt and go talk to people to find places to host PBA events?
I mean, the regional programs are pretty strong, but it also is probably 1/10 of the cost to host a regional for the PBA than it is for a national event. But the regional program is stronger than it's been in a couple of decades. I mean, the managers they have out there right now are talking with bowling centers all the time, and there's some centers that host 2 or 3 times a year. So the ability's out there. Once again, if they can make the cost less for these host centers, whether it's a lower fee or the host centers have to find sponsors to bring it to the city or whatever, I think they could do it. I think they could do 30 stops a year,
because on the horizon, the World Bowling League. Mm-hmm. So you are going to have to figure out, if you think it's a threat, of how do I get more money and more opportunities for money into my bowlers' pockets to try and save this from not being split or a max exodus possibly happening, and these guys traveling all over the world making significantly more money than they are in the PBA. And PBA payouts have risen significantly from, say, 10, 15 years ago. Right. I mean, they've definitely went up. But the question is now, how much more up can you get to try and cut these guys off at the impasse?
Right. I think if you ask Tom on all this, I think Tom's answer is going to be is the money. When I'm listening to you guys talk, I'm going back to the days of ABC Wide World of Sports and then of course the tour before that. It was every weekend, same time. What was the schedule back then? Wasn't it like January to about May?
Yeah, January. Yeah, usually wrapped up at the Tournament Champions April, and then it went to ESPN after a couple-week break.
And what was it that came back in September?
NBC had it for a while.
September?
September, October. Jay Randolph and Earl Anthony were always the play-by-play and color in those shows that I remember.
Why?
So
I'm asking again, why? Why has this been broken up like this for? Because again, September and October, how many tournaments did they have, Phil? I don't remember watching that.
8 or 10 stops during the fall tour.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was the mid 80s to very early 90s for NBC.
Sure, I was bowling in league. Saturday mornings, I'd come home and I'd watch bowling.
Yeah, I
USA,
get it. Yeah, USA Network. If it wasn't on NBC, USA Network did quite a few as well.
Wasn't Bowling with the Champs on Sunday mornings?
Right.
Yeah, and I would watch Bowling with the Champs in Milwaukee on Sunday morning. So I grew up with it. I don't know. I don't get it. But either way, let's move on because we're going to talk this to death. Probably already have. Okay. The next one in February. So we've already got PBA Elite League on Saturday, February 3rd, U.S. Open Finals February 4th. The next weekend, Saturday, February 10th, is a PBA Illinois Classic, Mount Prospect, Illinois, on Saturday, February 10th. That's a one-day deal, or one TV deal, I should say. It's 7 o'clock at night on a Saturday night on FS1. not ideal timing as far as where you want to be for TV viewing, a Saturday in prime time. But who cares? You're on TV. That's all that matters.
Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah. Yep. That's the night before.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'd rather be there than against the Super Bowl.
Right.
And just don't want to be against the Super Bowl. Right. So the night before is fine. Then the next week is a PBA Missouri Classic, Enterprise Park Lanes in Springfield, Missouri, Sunday, February 18th. That's a noon event, Central Time on FS1 for that one. So you're driving from, let's see, Kansas, and then it's a month off, so you're really not driving. But then it's Indianapolis, then you're driving to Mount Prospect, then you're driving to Springfield, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there, you're going back to Indiana, Anderson, Indiana. Yep. The next week for Dave Small's Championship Lanes event there, the Indiana Classic. That's February 24th. Then here's a drive. Then you're driving from there to Delaware for the Mid-County Lanes and Entertainment in Middleton, Delaware. Have they ever been to Delaware?
Yeah, last year was the Roth-Holman doubles.
Oh, that's where it was.
There were some extra frame events back in the day that we had that were hosted at Mid-County Lanes. It's a great center, and they've got some new management staff in there. It's really got some fresh ideas.
Can you explain to me? I thought bowling was big on the East Coast.
It is.
Why aren't they in New York or New Jersey or Brooklyn?
I was surprised they weren't back in New Jersey again. I mean, last year they had the Players Championship in New Jersey, and
did it not draw?
Oh, there was packed. I got there on Friday night to shoot video and some behind the scenes stuff for the PBA, and it was wall to wall during the match play rounds. I had to suck my gut in and get between people and that kind of thing. Yeah, it was packed. Why it didn't go back to the old? It used to be Carolina Lanes. Now it's Brylow, North Brunswick. I don't know why they're not back there. I mean, it was wall to wall, and the shows are pretty packed as well.
Boston makes sense. New York makes sense. I mean, up and down that East Coast, DC maybe makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, all in that area. And again, I don't know how difficult it is to book these things or whatever else, but just feels like we start talking about expanding this thing and getting it bigger. Could you get it bigger?
Yeah.
Just feels like if we're going to keep it Midwest, East Coast and ignore the South and ignore the West, then you've got to be in the bigger markets. On the East Coast. You have to. I mean, that's why Rutgers and Maryland ended up in the Big Ten.
Right.
Not because they were any damn good, but because the Big Ten Network wanted a footprint out in the East Coast.
Yeah.
Well, the PBA and Fox, it is what it is, but the PBA should want a foot stamp where bowling is huge out in the New York area.
Yeah.
Last year wasn't one of the big complaints that those 4 classic tournaments that were bowl TV only, streamed only?
There were some fans that were chirping about it.
Yeah, and now they're going to be on TV. At least PBA made a positive move. They're making these now Fox finals.
But there was the same thing in the past too. Back when I was with Extra Frame, where we had 3 or 4, but they were during the summer. There were 3 or 4 events during the summer, and the finals were Extra Frame only. But they compacted those into like a 10-day time span, so the players weren't out for that long. You know, one thing I think the PBA really keeps in mind too is a lot of these players that aren't. If you're not in the top 15 in money, you're doing something else when you get home. I mean, you have a pro shop or you're working in a bowling center, that kind of thing. And I think some of that has to do with how they do these schedules as well, where all of a sudden there's some one-off events and that type of thing where the guys can get away from their pro shops and that type of thing. You know, if the money gets better and the money gets higher, maybe that can change. But it's always been that way. As much as guys say, oh, in the 80s, everybody was out there bowling, but either the guys had really good sponsors or they were doing something when they weren't out on tour. If you weren't in the top 10 or 15 there, you can ask any of the players that were out there back then.
This is prime picking for the World Bowling League.
Right.
Prime picking.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Prime picking.
Because no one I read on social media cares for Bowl TV. All the comments are always negative.
Well, that TV. I don't really care about that. I'm not going to go after those guys. But my point in all of this is like Phil said, if you're 15 to 20 or whatever the number is, and below that, you're working a second job, you've got something else going to bring money in. Makes sense. Not saying it's wrong.
Right.
Now, even if they don't get 5 to 10, but if they can get 15 to 25 to come bowl on their World Bowling League, and each one of those dudes are making $500,000 a year or something stupid, and they're not even Kyle Troops of the world or Anthony Simonsons.
Right.
There's some of these other dudes. See ya. I'm making 500 G's a year. I can do this for 3 or 4 months and be done. Because again, I don't know how long the World Bowling League Pro League is going to be, the pro type tournaments or whatever. I don't know if it'll be as long as PBA League or longer, but even let's say it's 6 months, say they go longer than the PBA or 8 months, these dudes come back here, they don't have to bowl in a PBA event. They got 4 months off. They're making 500 G's a year. Who cares? I'm not bowling in any of your
Or
stuff.
they're investing in it instead of working for somebody. They're investing in growing a business of their own. I mean,
Sure.
you look at the number of other sports stars that their off season is growing their brand and growing their business, whether they're, sitting on a bench in the NBA as a 13th man or they're, a superstar. They're out there hustling and making money.
Craig Counsell's building a brand in Chicago. Idiot. PBA All-Star Weekend comes up. Now, this is interesting. No location.
That's probably when they announced the format, because they even said, when they had the press release, the format and everything to be determined on what they're going to do for this. Is it going to be like a Chris Paul event and they're going to bring other, bowlers, other celebrities in, that type of thing? I've heard nothing on it yet on what they're going to do. I'm sure it's going to be at least one of those days. I bet would be a cross promotion, like a Chris Paul or a Jimmy Allen or something like that type event. And then who knows what they'll do for the other couple of days.
All right. Next week at PBA Junior National Championship, back to Kansas, Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah.
Valero North Rock. That's Saturday, March 23rd.
Yeah.
That one is on FS1.
That's a tape show. They're going to tape that during the
when they're there the last time.
Yeah, exactly.
USBC Masters. Phil was talking about this. Suncoast Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. I'm proud to tell you, I don't believe I've ever been there in my life.
Yeah, I mean,
it's gorgeous. I like the place.
It is there. Saturday, March 30th. PBA Elite League makes its return at night. And then Sunday, March 31st is the USBC Masters Finals. I like this. I'm good with this. The other thing that this is going to show is what this league looks like without being at bowling heaven. Because I would imagine it's not going to be as good on TV, and the atmosphere is not going to be as good. And I'll also predict that a lot of these bowlers are going to be like, this is not it.
Paid actors.
This is
like that, like a Portland got accused of back in the day. They're going to have to do something to get, for the teams that are on TV, whether they're going to be tossing out t-shirts for Portland or Detroit, Muay Thai Muscle or something. They're going to have to do something to get a few fans to, kind of root for the team that's on there.
I'm just telling you, you mark this down.
Otherwise, it's just
right now. Yes.
Yeah,
I tell you right now, it's going to ruin the atmosphere by not having these there. I like you taking this around and letting different whatever, but it would have made more sense to me, as I've said before, if you have home tournaments for each one of these.
Right.
So Milwaukee's got one. You have an event in Milwaukee to root for Milwaukee. And then Motown has one. Okay, you have one there to root for Detroit. That there makes sense. But to go to Kansas have a team?
No.
Oh, okay. Vegas?
Yeah, Vegas High Rollers.
So will the people in Vegas show up and support this thing and cheer for because that's
I think Vegas, there's enough bowling diehards, and there's enough bowling diehards out there that if Vegas is on that show,
because that's the best
behind it.
That's what you want.
Yeah,
you want the Vegas people to show up, cheer for their team, and boo everybody else. Just boo the hell out of everybody else that's not Vegas. That would make it for a fun atmosphere. So that's March 30th, March 31st. PBA World Series of Bowling.
Yeah,
don't you worry. Here we go. April 6th. At Thunderbolt Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan. Sunday, April 7th. And then Sunday, April 14th. Monday, April 15th. Tuesday, April 16th. Wednesday, April 17th. Saturday, April 20th. Sunday, April 21st.
I just hope it's not a 9-player step ladder for those two shows on the 20th and 21st. I understand why they did it. You get faces out there. At least it's not the 17-player one that was out there last year for the TOC.
Can I just ask a stupid question? What happened to Milwaukee?
Gone.
I know. Well, I feel like a Craig Counsell thing. Why were we dissed?
At least he didn't go to Chicago.
I understand.
At least there's not a tournament in Chicago. We got booted for a damn Chicago tournament.
Mount Prospect's right on the outskirts. So.
I don't care. It's not downtown Chicago.
PBA fans supported the World Series of Bowling.
Well, obviously not. Obviously not enough people showed up.
Were sold out.
Not enough people showed up.
I think it's just logistics. I think it's part of it is it's not a great tournament center like it used to be, because when the Pro Tour was at Bolero in the 60s, everybody had 1 or 2 bowling balls tops. Now these guys are dragging 6 bowling balls across all these pairs, and it's just impossible for them to move around. It's impossible for the fans to move around. I think that had something to do with it. And I know there were some player complaints about about the center itself. So,
and
I think those may have been heard at the headquarters in in Manhattan, and I think that could be why it's probably one of the reasons why the PBA League Bowler Certification National Championship got moved to Mount Prospect as well. They moved it from Bolero to Mount Prospect next year in June and July, and they moved the Peterson out of Bolero as well to Bolero Vernon Hills.
Oh, that's not good.
So we'll
so
see.
Mount Prospect and Vernon Hills centers are bigger than the one in Milwaukee.
Yeah, Vernon Hills is 40 and Mount Prospect's 32.
And they fill those lanes during the week.
Mount Prospect, yeah, I heard it's a very busy league center and such. Vernon Hills is more of an open play center,
so it's empty
type thing. Yeah,
is that Hawthorne Lanes?
Yeah, the old Hawthorne Lanes that the Spigner's owned.
40 lanes. What the hell are you doing with 40 lanes during the week?
Yeah,
that seems like overkill. I mean, unless that bowling population down there is nuts. There's no way you're filling 40 damn lanes.
When the Spigner's owned that place, there were two. Yeah, it was a very busy bowling center.
Yes.
When, in the 70s or 80s?
No, even in the 2000s.
Yep. Early 2000s.
Really?
2000s, yeah.
40 lanes seems like
in there a couple times.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous center.
Certification. That's where the coaching classes were.
Did you say getting your cooking certification?
Coaching
certification.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me why I need to be at Thunderbolt Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan from Saturday, April 6th to Saturday till Sunday, April 21st? Why do I need to be there that many weekends in a row?
The league is going to be that opening weekend. So
that first weekend,
they'll probably have the practice session Monday, the 8th, and then they'll do all the qualifying for the World Series of Bowling on the different patterns during that week. And the second week's just all the TV shows. That's what they did in Milwaukee. I mean, there was most of those days were, once they had the qualifying done, then it was just hanging around for the TV shows, except for the one day of
Why not put them somewhere where they want to be? Who the hell wants to be in Allen Park, Michigan? I mean, with all due respect, what is in Allen Park, Michigan? Nothing. That's my point.
One of my favorite bars in the world, but that's okay.
Now listen, I'm going to take this again. This is a situation where you can make them happy, the bowlers,
right?
And you can make other people happy by putting it somewhere warm that has other stuff going on besides this. Now, again, maybe that's the point. We're going to put it somewhere where we're the only attraction in town. The TV is going to give us all the coverage, right? And that's what it is. Yeah. Do they get a lot of TV coverage there? I would assume so if they're there for a damn month.
They've got, last time I was there was 2019 when they had the World Series there. They had really good crowds. Even during the day, they had really good crowds because that's when most of the action was taking place once qualifying was done. And then, it's good crowds. And they have that arena bay. So they can set up for the TV for two. It's no different than the 24 side at Bolero and Wauwatosa. They used that for a studio the entire time they were there. It was never used in competition. And they'll do the same thing with the arena bay, with the Tom Strobel bay at Thunderbolt.
You think people drive to Allen Park, Michigan to watch bowling?
Some will.
Yeah.
You'll get some people coming in from Toledo and Cleveland and that type of area, which since they're not going, since that's as close as they're going to get, you'll get some fans.
I just wonder again if it's a cost savings thing because that studio or that section of the bowling alley is all ready for them to just
makes sense.
Yeah,
sure. To me, as we talked about before, expanding the footprint of getting some different places,
right?
Just makes a lot of sense to me to try and get somewhere else. I mean, Louisville.
Am I missing something? Why there's never anything like out in California? I mean, there you talk about warm, beautiful. It's huge. Wouldn't you think that they have some bowling out there?
Even forget California for a second. Nashville, Louisville. I mean, just going down into that area.
Right.
I mean, Nashville's popping, man, right now.
Yeah.
Louisville, Atlanta. No, Atlanta doesn't have sports fans. So forget Atlanta. Like Louisville and Nashville, like that makes sense, right? I mean, they're going to draw. And let's go back to the All-Star thing. You put that damn thing in Nashville, you're telling me you can't get a bunch of singers and so forth from Nashville to come out and be a part of that Nashville, Tennessee. And now we're back to, hey, come party with the PBA in Nashville. Fly away, get away to Nashville. A lot cheaper than Hawaii, like I mentioned earlier, right? Airfare, hotel, whatever else, hit the honky-tonk bars, do all of that.
Right.
Have a couple of these bowlers up on stage trying to sing or whatever with a singer in one of these bars. Right, you guys are laughing, but that's what you want.
Right.
I know Ronnie Russell would be up there,
Ronnie,
that would be probably the main entertainment of the week.
Sure, whatever. But these guys would love it. That'd be a hell of a lot more fun than, with all due respect, middle of nowhere, Michigan. All right, that'll do it. We went almost 45 minutes. And I was angry the whole time. I warned you at the beginning of the podcast that Council and the Brewers put me in a bad mood. Normally, when I get pissed off, I go to bed, I wake up the next morning, and I'm not as mad. I went to bed last night and woke up this morning more mad than I was last night when I went to bed. And you want to know what pushed me over the edge with this thing? When in the Verducci story on SI, at Sports Illustrated's website, a person close to counsel or whatever said that the Cubs was his dream job if he left Milwaukee. That was it. That was it. Pushed me right over the edge. And I was mad before that. Now I'm even more mad. Yeah. And then remember the video they showed? Oh, I'm just like you. I'm Craig Counsell. Yeah. I remember the video they put out. Yeah, just like you. And I grew up a Brewer fan, and I lived here all my life.
Game.
And blah 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 blah. Guess what? You're not like me. My dream job was never the damn Chicago Cubs. How about those apples? Idiot. Complete idiot. I said this on my interview with Tim Muma at 1250amthefan.com. When Craig Counsell goes to the grocery store, boo him. When Craig Counsell is getting his haircut in Whitefish Bay, boo him there too. I don't want you to like punch him or yell curse words at him. I just simply want you to boo him. When he's getting his haircut just the entire time, boo, boo. When he's getting apples, those apples suck like you, boo, whatever.
This is better than Chicago sports radio after Bears loss. This is awesome.
Oh my God, I'm so mad. And then Antonazzo, you're an idiot beyond all recognition too. Again, okay, so now we're going into Brewers the world. I'm sorry to the rest of
Overtime.
You. So now you tell me, as a manager, Craig Counsell, I would like to reset the market and set a standard to catch up baseball because they're way behind the NFL, the NBA, right? Way behind manager salaries, coach salaries. So that's what we tell you, the Brewers. The Brewers go, oh, we'll help you reset the market. We'll give you a whole $1 million more than the highest paid guy now. What market is that going to reset? That's insulting. Do you know what that is? That's like when they pulled that crap with Sabathia and Prince Fielder.
Right.
Sabathia's leaving. Oh, we'll give you 4 years at 100, knowing damn right, well, that was not going to get it done. But it was a PR move for the fans saying, hey, we tried.
Right.
Fielder, same thing. Greinke, same thing. Same thing. Now this whole thing, you think it's coincidence that it leaks yesterday morning before it gets out of the council going to the Cubs that the Brewers made him an offer to be the highest paid manager in baseball. Good PR move. Yeah. Stellar. Really, really stellar. Good stuff.
It lasted about 8 seconds once the other announcement got made.
Unbelievable. And then, how about this? Maybe it should be Craig Snake in the Grass Council. Maybe that's what we should call him from now on. Want to know why? That man went behind another dude's back who had a job and interviewed David Ross, right? Yeah, David Ross, former baseball player, just like Craig Counsell, right? There is some type of fraternity here that has to be had. Like, dude, I'm not talking to you. You got a manager, man. I'm not doing that to him. Right. You want to get rid of him? Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking to you while he's under contract. That's BS. I'm not doing that. That's classless crap.
Yeah.
Not for Counsell, though. Idiot.
Waiting for the Counsell uniform burning in the parking lot here once we're done.
Thought about it this morning. The only problem is there's not enough people that own a Counsell uniform. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.